Morning, folks. Today's soap is brought to us from Dr. John's. This one here, you'll have a fun time finding this one here. This one here is called Bandit. And yes, that screaming eagle or bird, if you will, off of a Trans Am. Yes, that's what this one here is all about. This one here has a few scent notes, in other words, with citrus, leather, patchouli, herb, and of course, whiskey. Uh, this one here, my nose definitely picks up the lather. This is one of the first things it notices. After that, the leather, you have the leather, then you get the citrus and the patchouli and the herbs, and my nose can't pick those out. It kind of all blends together. So anyway, it's a pretty nice scent. Buy, sell, trade if you're lucky enough to find one. This one came out about 3 or so years ago. Um, Back then, this was a Beaver Woodbright, which is now known as Black Ship Grooming. So, in other words, the name has changed. Folks are the same, just the name changed. But I got the matching aftershave here. Uh, got it whipped. Yesterday, I shut off the camera, in other words, and I'm cleaning up, and then I realized I didn't show the scuttle, the inside of the scuttle. So, I don't have any water inside the scuttle. I don't really need warm lather this morning. It's kind of warm this morning already. Weather here is kind of crazy because it's upper getting around in the 70s, for the high of the day, and then this coming Sunday where we might get some snow. So there it is. Anyhow, here's the scuttle from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. It is, my lather is just, you can tell it's wet. That's what it looks like there on the inside. Maybe if I can keep it from running out. It's lightweight. This is the one, if you're unfamiliar, there was a video out with them throwing this off the top of the building and letting it hit the pavement and watch it bounce all over the ground and whatnot. Anyway, referred to as shatterproof. It's lightweight, runs about 20 bucks. It's relatively inexpensive. Like I did this morning, you can use it as your bowl and or your scuttle to keep your lather warm. Oh, my horsehair brush here, Vie Long. I like it. It's when I'm holding it in my hand, I'm using it. It doesn't feel. I'm not quite as concerned about dropping it. There's those things. In other words, when you're using porcelain, your hands are wet or soapy, slippery, whatever the case might be. This one here, I don't feel as concerned about it. It just kind of makes a little bit more relaxed atmosphere because some of these scuttles they're not in other words, you get one, they're not made anymore, so you hate to drop it, and you're getting the anxiety level is kind of up there, with soapy hands and whatnot. But at any rate, this one here is referred to as a travel scuttle. Like I say, it works just fine for me. I like it. If I had to, in other words, because of space and budget and all that sort of thing, if I only had to, in other words, could only have one, this would be a good choice here. Because like I say, you can use it as your bowl, use it as a scuttle, keep your lather warm. You can go either way and you'd only have one item and takes up less space and so on and so forth. Blade of the day. This may be my first time go on these blades, and they've been out a while. Matter of fact, I've had this pack of Kai blades for a while now and just never have tried the blade itself. Oh, this is what it comes wrapped. It's just a plain wrapper, single wrap. And I've got it in here, my Gillette red tip. This is series working not only through the flare tips as well as working up to Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Ascension, I think it's Select, where you can get different color tips for the handle and whatnot. Working up to that shave, in other words. With this one here, you can kind of tell this is I'm trying to remember 55, 56 model. Can't remember right off the top of my head. I didn't look it up before I got started. There's a little bit of an overhang here. If you're unfamiliar with these flare tips with the different colors, this one here is red. Then you got one that's, I guess you might say, natural color in the way of silver. And then there's one that's a blue tip. And then there's another one with black in the middle here. As time goes on, I'll shave with some of those and discuss all that sort of thing. This one here is the most aggressive. Medium aggressive would be the one that's got the chrome or silver color to it, and then the blue tip or the one that's got black in the middle would be the mildest ones. But this one here, I think is weighing right around the 2 ounce. It's a little bit, it weighs a little bit more than, in other words, the blue tip does. The blue tip's kind of a lightweight one. But, oh, and to show you what the blade looks like the wrapper, it's plain. There's nothing on it. There's no numbers. There's no etching, laser etching in there that you can kind of sort of see maybe. No, there is absolutely nothing on these blades. So it's just one of those things, I guess, if you're like me, you kind of like to see the name on there or something of the sort, indicating that somebody's not just duplicating the packaging and giving you some other blade. But anyway, I guess that's for another day. Or to put a hot towel to the face this morning, here's the Phoenix Artisan Christmas Cube Preshave soap. Boy, in a way, this is one of those shaves I've been looking forward to. Not only because the blade, which I've never used before, but I do enjoy this shaver, and I do enjoy the soap and aftershave. I was really late in getting this. When I got a hold of it, I think it was in 2017, and it would already been out maybe at least a year, if not longer. And how I picked it up is it was on sale. I had thought I just missed the boat altogether, is what I had thought. And I think it was at Black Ship Grooming is where I noticed it as a package deal for sale. In other words, the soap and the aftershave. Because this was a collaboration effort in between Dr. John's and Black Ship Grooming. And when all this came about, I guess you might say mentally especially, I was not quite ready to go there. I like the marketing. The label's awesome. It's just at the time I was in a different place in my thinking. I was still very much, I guess you might say, budget-orientated, minded. And when the price finally dropped on this and it showed up and just by happenstance, I just happened to be looking at the website and, oh, wow, looky there, it's there. And at a reduced price, it's on sale. And I was like, all right, I'm going to have to do it. If I'm going to do it, this is the time to do it. Because I knew eventually it was going to go out of stock and it was going to stay out of stock. Just did not think that they would ever make it again. Maybe they will one day. Maybe they will. That's the hope, at least. I like it. It may not be everybody's cup of tea in the way of scent, but I do like the idea behind it. If you're a little young, Smokey and the Bandit is where this comes from. Bandit being especially I guess you might say, relating to the Trans Am. And that's where the bird comes from on the label. Of course, Pontiac's not in business anymore. And they quit. I think the last Trans Am that was made, it was in 2002. So it's been a moment since it's been in production, car-wise. I think the movie came out, was it 77 or 78? Showing my age, am I? Anyway, for the time, it was a lot of fun to watch. I used to have a Trans Am back in the day, 79 model, silver with red interior. Anyway, another story, huh? Here we go. A lot of this and setting up the shaves is also working towards the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Ascension with where you can get different colors for the knob at the end of the handle. I say knob, it doesn't twist open or anything like that. It does twist, but not necessarily to open. We'll get into that when I get to that shaver. But you can, after these shaves, you can kind of get the idea where the thought process with that particular shaver, with the handle, where it came from. At least part of it. The other part came from another vintage razor. So you kind of see that, as time goes on, homage to these vintage shavers that have been, I guess you might say, a crowd favorite. comes back around. A little combination in between the two. Like I said, this one here is considered to be the more aggressive. With this blade on the with the grain pass, pretty smooth. I would have to say I've had other blades in this shaver that didn't shave quite as smooth. I've read some accounts with this particular blade where some people, I guess you might say, the blade didn't work as well as what they thought it would be, considering the expense. And I'll have a link down below for all this stuff, but especially for the blades. I'm wanting to say off the top of my head, it's either $4 or $5 a pack, and there's only what, 5 blades in the pack. So it's a bit on the expensive side when you can get other blades around 10 cents or less per blade. And this one here is looking more around the dollar mark. It's kind of expensive for a DE blade. But if you're getting many more shaves out of the blade, or a greater appreciation for the blade on how, because of the shave that you're getting, I can understand it. But for me, when I start factoring in cost and the performance of a blade versus the more expensive ones, I have to get quite a few uses out of the expensive one. I guess you might say for me to get a greater appreciation for that expensive blade. Because I've got a few that are my favorites that are somewhat cheaper and more readily available, if you will. Number of different places where you can find the blade. This one here, in other words, is not, you can go just to any website and find it. But I have to say, it's pretty smooth shaving right now. Pretty nice. Guess you might say it was a good matchup in between the two. Like I say, I had no idea how I was going to shave. And typically, as I go through these shaves, it's usually I use a blade and then I retire it and put in a new blade if I'm doing at least a couple of shaves with that particular blade name brand, I guess you might say. This one here, I will be reusing this blade in the next shaver. As you can imagine why. It's, like I say, it's not cheap. It's an expensive blade. But it's performed pretty well in this particular shaver. Pretty nice. Efficiency of this particular shaver, about like some of the others. It's got a pretty good beard reduction. I could go with the third pass being a pickup pass. And if I was to change up my normal routine, I could probably do it in 2 passes. That would, especially if you're in a hurry, I could understand. Scent strength of the soap, even though I've had it for a while, I still pick up the scent of the soap. Little to no trouble. Matter of fact, I feel like it's almost, because when I'm smelling it off the puck, you know, I've got my nose pretty close to it. But with this being like it is right now, I would say the scent strength is still hanging in there pretty well. I do like this scent. It won't be everybody's favorite though, because if you don't particularly care for leather, I say leather is one of the first things I notice. Leather scents is pretty nice. I like them. But not everybody does. It's about like musk. My wife's not a big musk fan. I did find one though that she did like, or does like I should say. And believe it or not, a Taco Bell musk. She actually likes that one. Clubman musk, she's kind of so-so with that one there. In other words, she don't necessarily doesn't like it, but she, you know, kind of on the fence on it. But there's other musk that she She's already told me she does not like them. It's going to be a pretty smooth shave. I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of stinging with the alum block this morning. I think it's going to be a pretty good, smooth, comfortable shave. I'm really surprised by this blade because some folks, the way they were describing it was not a very good shave for some folks. And this shave was pretty nice. I do have a more aggressive shaver that I could have used it in, but I thought this might be a fair opportunity for it to prove itself. And boy, this is a pretty nice blade. Just not very cheap. In other words, they're far more expensive than feathers. At least I've been able to find feather blades at a more affordable price than these. These are, I'm not seeing, in other words, a 100 pack, down where I might spring for them. I think the last time I saw a 100 pack price was near $40 for 100 of these, and that's, for me, that's a bit expensive. Face feels pretty good. This soap, I like to say, even though it's, matter of fact, I think Dr. John's on his third base, soap base, and of course this would be the first one. Oh, by the way, I did have some other blades on standby just in case, and this one here was not going to work out well. Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements alum block complete with rubber band. Just a little bit right there. But a really nice shave. This is one of these shavers. Well, I can shave, an all week with the whole setup. It's such a nice setup, especially since this blade worked out so well. Yeah, I could definitely shave with this without a problem all week. It'll be a lot of fun. Sometimes you might get kind of tired of a particular scent or something like that, or the razor. This one here, it just amazes me. For instance, we're looking at it's roughly, give or take a few years. In other words, it's what? 60, 70 years old. Still performs just, fantastic. I have this is not the only red tip I have. I have a red tip that's in pristine shape that I only use once in a great while, complete with case, in other words, the whole setup. It looks just like new. It's never been recoated or anything like that, replated, nothing of the sort. It's all original, and I got it all wrapped up to keep the case looking pretty decent and whatnot. But these shavers, they look, when they're like new, these things look fantastic. Really enjoy shaving with them. Now for the aftershave. I was really lucky to get these. Like I say, I was so late to the game in getting this. Wish I could remember exactly when it came out, but I know when they first came out, it was like, wow. Just because of the sticker, just because of the labeling. I guess you might say bringing back those memories. Yeah, even the aftershave still got a nice scent to it. Scent strength, whatnot. It is really nice. Sometimes I kind of hate doing these kind of videos because I know it's going to be hard to find this. But it's also an example of how things have went from days gone by and how things are now, and that the community has had a lot to offer in days gone by, as an example of what is going to be offered in the future. This one here, matter of fact, I got a little bit of the label off of my hand, the ink. But yeah, these are great times to be a wet shaver, that's for sure. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay healthy, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.